The Colorado Avalanche remain one of the league's hottest teams. They're on a 6-game winning streak. Chris Micieli of Locked On Avalanche is here to talk about his team and how they are prepping for the upcoming Stanley Cup playoffs.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to the Monday edition of the Locked On NHL podcast. Gil Martin, glad to be with you here as I am every Monday. And thank you for making Locked On NHL your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. It's my pleasure to welcome back to the show a familiar face and voice to people who listen to the show and watch the show regularly from Locked On Avalanche, Chris Micieli, also co-host every Thursday of this podcast. So, Chris, welcome back.
Oh, thank you, sir. Always a pleasure and always a privilege, and I'm glad I'm feeling well enough to do this.
I am glad you're feeling well enough as well, and it's great to have you back. 6 in a row for the Colorado Avalanche. I would say they're on a roll, but they've pretty much been on a roll all season. But what has been the catalyst? What has been the reason for this most recent winning streak?
I just feel like this team, I said a couple episodes ago that they just, when you watch them play, they just look comfortable. You know, like nothing is out of bounds for them. Nothing is too, like, no task is too daunting. They don't really get behind that much, but if they do, it's just, we're not going to press the issue. We're going to play our game. And if, a puck bounces our way, we got to take advantage of it. And they just never are skittish. They're never, feeling like they can't win a game. And it was proven the other day. They played Edmonton, and Edmonton, it was a really good game. Edmonton found a goal in the third. It was 1-0. And it was watching it, like, as a fan, you're like, it's not over. Like, even though it was 1-0, yeah, anything is not over and it's 1-0, but they just have the talent to get one goal, and that's what they did. It was Nathan MacKinnon, just exactly what I just said. Something's going to bounce their way, and it did, and MacKinnon found the net. And then it was just Darcy Kuemper just being absolutely insane. He has been phenomenal, and I can't say this team is going on this streak, and for how long have they been as good as they've been playing, as long as they've been playing for this season. More recently, maybe the second half of the year, is a big reason because of him. Took a lot of flack early in the season, but he has been one of, if not the best goalie, and I'm not being a homer saying that, really since the calendar changed. He's been spectacular.
One thing I noticed on this 6-game win streak, a lot of 1-goal wins.
Yeah.
What is it about this team that allows them to win so many close games?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not coming easy for them. They were blowing out teams earlier in the year. And now it is some come from behind victories. It's, overtime victories, which has been horrible for them in the past few years, but they're a better overtime team this year. Like I said, it's just, they are confident. They're confident. And when they get a lead, they have a great defense, and the goaltending is just, all right, we're just going to shut you down. We're still going to play our game. And yeah, if we can net another goal, obviously we want to do that, but they're so comfortable with one another. They know what everybody on that team is supposed to do. They don't overstep their bounds in their role, and they play it to perfection. And it's tough for other teams to overcome them for a full 60 minutes. You can get over on them for a period or so, but they keep the pressure on, whether they're behind or in front, for a full 60 minutes. And it's just tough. It's tough for other teams to really combat that.
And it's entertaining hockey to boot, so that always helps. Were you happy with what the Avs did at the trade deadline, and how are the new acquisitions fitting in here as we come down the stretch?
I was more than happy. And, you heard a lot about, they were in on Giroux, and they were, I think they did try to get him. It didn't work out, but I think Avalanche fans are secretly happy that it didn't work out, because what they got was nothing earth-shattering like Giroux would have been, but everything that they got were holes that needed to be plugged, and they needed a little bit of depth on defense, and they got that in Josh Manson. They needed depth on the forward lines, and they got that with Turi Lehkonen. And then they just needed some muscle and maybe a little bit more brute, and they got that in Nico Sturm, and then even in Cogliano, who's just kind of like the elder statesman of the team now. Just having some of that is always a good thing. So they need everything that they need. They didn't need top six help. It's that wasn't a need for them. What they needed was exactly what they got. And those guys too they come in and they know their roles. And one thing that the Avalanche struggled in were zone exits and forechecking. Outside of Valnichuskin, he's their best forechecking forward. And now they have another one in Lehkonen who's great, and Logan O'Connor is a very good forechecker. So now they have, like, they were always a tough team to play against top to bottom, but you could get over on them on their bottom six, especially their fourth line. Now it truly is four lines of, you need to work to get past this team. And their penalty kill has immensely improved. It was improving before they even acquired, especially Manson and Lehkonen. But it's gotten even better with those two guys now on the penalty kill. The power play has improved much. I think they dipped to like 11th or 12th in the league. Now they're back up to 4th or 5th in the league. Everything that you need to make a deep run, they acquired. And there's genuinely no massive glaring holes, including now the goaltending, because that was another one that people were hanging their hat on. Like, yeah, you guys have all the talent in the world on your forwards and even on defense with Cale Makar and Sam Girard and Devon Taves, but how is your goaltending going to hold up? And, it's still a question for the playoffs. We can keep asking that for, will it continue into the playoffs? But you have to feel really good about it continuing in the playoffs, the way that Darcy Kemper is playing in goal. Even backup Pavel Francouz is playing fantastic. Just everything is just firing on all cylinders right now for the Avalanche. You have to be happy if you're an Avs fan.
So the question that remains to be asked, how much pressure is on this team come playoff time after the disappointing playoff runs of the last couple of years?
A lot. They've been eliminated in the second round the past 3 years. So yeah, and this team is built to go deep into the playoffs and win a championship. That's what they're there. They made the trade. Some of the trades that they made, one in particular to get Lehkonen, they let go one of their top prospects. So we are all in. And some people are like, oh, don't go get the President's Trophy because that's too. You had the President's Trophy last year, so if you win it again this year, that's not a problem. The President's Trophy is more than just you had the most points in the league. It's home ice advantage. That is the important part. Not you had the most points. And the Avs want it. They want that, and they are, they have it right now, and Florida is pushing them. Yeah, the Avs have a 6-game winning streak, but Florida has a 7-game winning streak. So Florida's not making it easy for them. And if they get it, I want them to have it because they're very good on home ice. So yeah, I mean, but there is a lot of pressure for this team to getting out of the second round is not going to be like, okay, well then that's a plus. The season we can call the season a success.
Right.
No, you still need to do one more round and then the final round to really make the season a success. It genuinely is Stanley Cup or nothing for this team this year.
Stanley Cup or bust in Colorado. Chris, why don't you tell our listeners and our viewers where they could find you on social media and where they could find the podcast?
Yeah, Twitter, the show LOPN_Avalanche. If you want to follow me personally, you can just look in the I don't know. Within that Twitter account in the profile, you can find my own Twitter page. Really don't do too much on there. Most of it's done on the show's Twitter page. So you can go to that. We're on Instagram, just Locked On Avalanche on Instagram. And then we have our own YouTube channel as well, Locked On Avalanche on there. So yeah, we're all over the place.
Chris, so glad you could do this. Thanks for coming on today.
Anytime, my friend.